This meeting of the Berry County Board of Commissioners is called to order. Will commissioners, staff, and guests please rise for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I do have a flag here to my right, so that's the way I turn. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for bringing us to this meeting through the means of technology. Lord, we just ask that this season go quickly from us and that we are able to resume our normal meeting schedules and resume the business that we have at hand. Lord, thank you for those men and women who work in harm's way, which is now a whole lot more abundant than it ever has been, to afford us the freedoms to meet and to discuss the business of our county. Thank you for the beautiful day, and I pray that all the events that are scheduled for today go off without a hitch. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Attendance. For the purposes of roll, the clerk will call the attendance, or call the roll. Did we lose our clerk?
Pam's having trouble.
Connor?
Here.
Geiger?
Here.
Gibson?
Here.
Jackson?
Here.
Parker?
Here.
Smelker?
Here.
Wing?
Here. Thank you. Approval of written agenda. At this time, any commissioner or member of the public may ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under items for consideration.
Madam Chair, I would ask that we move to place the approval of the minutes of April 28th to unfinished business. I would also move to take the motion that was made by Connor and seconded by Jackson for the adoption of the resolution number 2011 on April 28th to unfinished business.
Second.
Are there any other requests? So moved, or actually, we'll move that to unfinished business. Any other requests for the consent agenda? The agenda is approved as amended. Reports from state and county officers. Does any state or county officer or their representative have a report to share with the board? We'll wait a minute while the sheriff is still connecting.
Sheriff, they're waiting for you to connect.
His computer's working.
There he goes.
Your county officer or representative have a report to share with the board. Somebody's mic is open and it's looping back through.
She asked you whether you have anything to report, Dar.
Not today, no, thank you.
Nothing
Alrighty.
today, he said.
Various correspondence. Does any commissioner have any correspondence to share with the board? I do have an update from the Berry County Agricultural Society. Due to the 2020 Berry County Fair scheduled for July 20th through 25th has been canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. The Fair Board did not make this decision in haste. Many components of the fair were taken into consideration. The health and safety of our volunteers, participants, and community is our top priority. We understand that this is a large part of our summer and will affect our community, sponsors, vendors, and families. Thank you for your continued support through these trying times. We will see you at the 2021 Berry County Fair, July 19th through 24th, Berry County Agricultural Society Fair Board. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Hearing none, consent items. I will need a motion after I read these. I The chair would entertain a motion. How about I just read them and not stumble over them? Approval of May 5th, 2020 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Approval of the 2021 budget calendar. Approval of the renewal of the liability, vehicle, physical damage, and property and crime insurance coverage to the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority for the period of July 1st, 2020 to July 1st, 2021 in the amount of $408,526 and authorize the member representative to sign the agreement. E, approval of the proposal from GRS Consulting in the amount of $12,000 to complete the December 31st, 2019 actuarial valuation of other post-employment benefits, health and life insurance for Berry County in compliance with the GASB Statement Number 45 and approval of the attached business associate agreement.
Support, Gibson.
Motion by Gibson, support by
Geiger. Support.
Support by Geiger. Motion by Gibson, support by Geiger to approve the items listed under the consent agenda. Discussion is not allowed and a roll call vote is required. The clerk will call the roll.
Connor,
Yes.
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Smelker,
Yes.
Wink.
Yes. Consent agenda is approved. I had a gavel here. There we go. All right, presentations. We do not have one today, and we do not have a public hearing today. Items for consideration. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for approval of transfers and disbursements, approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $3,397,559.27.
Connor moves.
Jackson, support.
Smelker, second.
Moved by Connor, support by Jackson. Discussion.
I had asked Jim Dahl about the legal fees that are in the claims, transfers and disbursements and claims. He is on the call if anybody has any questions. I did ask him how that was going to work, and he explained it to me.
Jim, you got any words of wisdom for us?
Basically, this is the same thing as the Gun Lake Dam was. The county foots the bill until the project is done, and the court set the special assessment district, and then it's assessed against the property owners that benefit, the riparian owners on Long Lake, Cloverdale Lake, Chain of Lakes, all the way back through there. So when we get it all done and the courts have set it, then the cost will be assessed and the county will be repaid.
Thank you, Jim.
Sir.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Jim, will that be entirely repaid or will we stand some of it? Like on the Gun Lake Dam, we had to stand it
It's fine.
while it was still in our name, right?
I can hear it.
The part about the Gun Lake part was because some of the project, the preliminary work was done before while it was still owned by the county. Once the special assessment district is set up, there's no cost to the county on it. So that all everything that was done after the resolution is repaid by the special assessment district. It's a little bit different than a drain district. A drain district, the county gets a certain cost. Special assessment districts, from what I understand, is not that way. But what you're alluding to is when they did the Gun Lake Dam, it took quite a while to figure out who even owned it. And then they set special assessment district up after that. It was pretty messy because it was done privately originally by the county, kind of. It was done it was under strictly the county's jurisdiction, the first part of that. That's why part of the monies didn't come back.
But we won't have that problem on this one, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you.
Any other questions for during Commissioner Dahl? Hearing none, the question before the committee is approval of prepaid invoices in the amount of $3,397,559.27. The clerk will call the roll.
Geiger,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Smoker,
yes,
Connor,
yes,
Wing.
Yes, the invoices are approved. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for the approval of claims in the amount of $49,657.76.
So moved, Parker.
second, Smelker,
Moved by Parker, second by Smelker. Discussion. Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Gibson,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Smelker,
yes,
Connor,
yes,
Geiger,
Yes.
Wing.
Yes, claims are approved. There is no commissioner reimbursements to approve. Please keep track of any meetings that you do attend or you have attended in August and May. Try to get those turned in the 1st of June. I know we're spending an awful lot of time on the internet for most of our meetings, but there are some things that we've had to travel to town for. Please get those in as quick as you can so that we can keep that balance current. Unfinished business. We moved the minutes. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for the approval of May 5th, 2020. That's not it. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion of the approval of April 28th, 2020 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes. Combined meeting with the Committee of the Whole.
I would make that motion, Connor.
Second.
Moved by Connor, support by Parker. Discussion.
Madam Chair, I would like to look at item number 13. That was the motion that I had made and that Commissioner Jackson had seconded regarding the adoption of Resolution 2011, resolution to approve ballot proposal for county bonds to fund the new county jail and sheriff department facility. I had made that motion. We had lots of discussion. John had made an amendment to the resolution. And in so talking, we realized we also had to make an amendment to the ballot language. During that discussion, I asked for clarification on how many votes there would be. And we talked about a friendly amendment to John's. We approved that. And then it should have come back to my original motion. After we voted, Commissioner Geiger had made a motion to approve the amended resolution, which really was not needed. The meeting adjourned without addressing the open motion, my open motion that was on the floor.
You are correct. While Commissioner Geiger's motion did approve the amended motion, it was an additional motion that we didn't need, and we left the original motion open on the floor. So in order to correct that, we will have to reconsider that motion after we approve the minutes. Are there any other questions?
I think
All
that
right.
it was,
This is Commissioner Geiger. Can we explain why we're redoing this serious, very substantive resolution? I mean, this seems like more than just a minute correction.
This is the only thing that we are doing is trying to close a motion that was left open during our last Board of Commissioner meeting. There was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of confusion. Even the newspaper said that we took 45 minutes to discuss this motion, but we left that original motion open, and it was in an error on my part because I hesitated, thinking that maybe I needed a motion, which I really didn't, because the original motion was on the floor. It was the main motion. Commissioner Geiger moved to support or to approve the amended motion, which we really didn't need that motion. So it was kind of redundant, but we still left the original motion open. So we need to go back to reconsider and approve the original motion to approve that ballot language as amended.
Now, does that mean we have to change the dates too then? Because
Nope,
that
it's-
original motion included
Nope. That original motion is amended. We just have to we just have to vote to approve the original motion as amended.
Oh,
We just left that open. We didn't close it the way we should have. But it was approved. The language was approved in the motion by Geiger. So it's not that we're reconsidering what we did. We just have to go back and close that motion to make it proper.
thank you for making that clear.
And the original motion was to approve the resolution. The resolution was amended and approved, and so it should have gone back to the original motion. So
Yep. We
It
just
was
have to go back and close that.
it was our first Zoom meeting.
So any other discussion? Hearing none, the question
In my
before the
10
board.
years of being commissioner, I've never seen this done before, but I'll trust the board's wisdom on this.
Thank you, sir. Hearing no further discussion, the question before the committee is approval of the minutes of the April 28th, 2020 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes, combined with the meeting with Committee of the Whole. The clerk will call the roll.
Jackson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Smelker,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes,
Geiger,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Wing.
Yes. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for the reconsideration of the adoption of resolution number 20-11, resolution to approve ballot proposal for county bonds to fund new county jail and sheriff department facility as amended.
So moved, Gibson.
second, Connor.
Moved by Gibson, second Connor. Discussion.
Is this a
Sorry, sorry, Ben, I lost you for a minute.
Can't hear you, Ben.
Is this a motion just to bring it up again, or is it a motion to adopt?
It is a motion to reconsider so that we can close this,
I'm just
close the
wondering.
motion. I have to entertain the discussion, but that is not my motive to change anything.
No, I'm just wondering, since we're doing this, since we're reconsidering, is this going to be one vote or two votes?
I'm hoping it's just one. Any other discussion?
Seems we are doing it over. Should Vivian and Dave made this motion, seems they made the original one?
That their motion still stands. Vivian is the one that supported the motion to reconsider. Anyone who voted in favor of the motion can move for it to be reconsidered, as long as you voted in favor for it. And so everyone voted in favor of the motion, and then anyone can vote or support it.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of resolution number 20-11, resolution to approve ballot proposal for county bonds to fund the new county jail and sheriff department facility as amended. The clerk will call the roll.
Parker,
Yes.
Smelker,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes,
Geiger. Geiger, Geiger,
Yes.
okay. Gibson,
Yes.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Wing.
Yes. The motion to reconsider has been approved, or the motion to approve the amended motion has been approved. Now I'm going to stumble over that. I don't have any other unfinished business. Is any new business to come before the board? County Administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you're aware, the governor extended the executive order effectively closing county government except for those items which are critical or basic infrastructure. So we will continue to function as we have until May 28th or earlier if there is a change in the executive order. And then the audit, we do have a final draft of the audit. Sue Vandekar and I, along with Dave DeHaan, have had a chance to review that. And it is ready when the board is ready to present to the board. So if you'd like, I'll work with you, Heather, to determine when we want to schedule Gaybridge and Company to present that. It looks like it may very well be by Zoom at this point, but we can take a look at that. And then we continue to work with staff on our COVID-19 operation and prevention plan. I forwarded a copy to everyone just for your information at this point. If you have any feedback, certainly feel free to provide that, but it will come to you in the near future for your approval. I'd answer any questions that at this point that you might have.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Dan.
Could you clarify for us, Michael, the information that you received with the 3.25% for bonds? Can you go over that with people here?
Sure. If you'd like me to at this point, let me pull that file. So as you'll recall at the, I think it was the last meeting, there was some discussion about updating the ballot language and the debt schedules to include the 2020 taxable value. We have those numbers forwarded to you an email and then a couple of updated debt schedules. The two debt schedules that I have been forwarding and looking at are both $25 million issues, one on a 25-year schedule, the other on a 20-year schedule. And the debt schedule also changes the assumption built into it that instead of the interest on the bonds, the interest rate that the county would pay being 4%, it's 3.25%. A little more in line, if you may, with what the market seems to be at this point. So between the increased taxable value and the decrease in the interest, a couple of data points that I looked at was the first year millage levy using 2019, or I'm just going to call it the previous numbers. The first year millage levy was 0.21 mills, and using the more current numbers, it drops it to 0.17 mills. The highest year levy goes, instead of it being 0.52 mil, drops to 0.46 mil, and the average over the life of the bonds for the 25 million 25-year schedule, instead of it being 0.5018 using the 2019 taxable value and 4% interest, drops to 0.4501 mil using the 2020 taxable value and a 3.25%. The total principal and interest drops from 42 million to 38,600,000. So a 3.5, almost $3.6 million reduction in interest that's paid over the life of the bonds using the more current numbers.
Thank you very much. I think it's good other people hear that also.
So I'd be happy to address any other questions or try to discuss it, analyze it, however folks would like, but we do have that information now.
Michael, what was the reduction of that interest over the life?
So over the life of a $25 million, 25-year schedule, it's $3.582 million. So $3,582,037.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What was the change in the interest rate, Michael?
And it went from 4% down to 3.25%.
That's a big jump.
And the risk in that is that these are assumptions. So the interest rate itself will be based on what the market is. So when we actually go out to bid, that will be a competitively bid number. And there's always risk. You want to sharpen your pencil as much as you can, but certainly you want to be cautious not to overpromise and under deliver, if you may. So that's why, but we still think, working with a finance advisor, that a 3.25% number based on our bond rating and the market is a reasonable number at this point.
Any other questions for Michael? Thank you very much, sir. Chairperson's report. So I read to you the news release from the Fair Board. I looked for the release that I got from MSU Extension several weeks ago that had canceled all of the in-person like student contact type meetings. So all of the camps, all of the workshops, all of the face-to-face 4-H meetings that happen through Michigan State Extension, I think really hurt any of the local fairs in trying to do something for the kids. This is a huge economic impact to our community. And you may think it's just 4-H for the kids, but let me tell you, I looked for the numbers in one of the articles from the Banner from last year and the year before. This is several $100,000 that these kids earn when they auction off their animals. Almost every single kid has purchased their fair animals or has identified which animals were raised on their farm for the sale. They're chickens, rabbits, ducks, turkeys, cows, beef cattle, pigs, sheep, goats, and even horses get purchased so that they can compete at 4-H. This is a huge economic impact to our community. My kids themselves spent money to buy 4 hogs because we don't raise hogs, but they'd like to show them. So if you have a 4-H'er that you routinely support or you routinely buy an animal at the fair for your personal use or to donate to the local food bank, please consider reaching out to the 4-H kids. My kids have almost $1,000 invested in their 4-H projects already for this year, and they have no recourse. We will butcher them like when they're time, and some of it will go in our freezer. But there's a lot of other kids out there that have animals that they were, depending on selling, and now they've got this huge investment in them. The catch is all of our local butchers are full up. The butcher that we routinely use in Saranac is scheduled out till January. Byron Center Meats in Byron Center is scheduled out almost as long. Everyone is full because people are butchering cattle because of the meat shortages in the store. And so contact your local growers, your local 4-H kids. Some of the processors have blocked off segments in their schedule so that they can accommodate some of the 4-H projects that won't go to sale. That's $600,000 that won't get reinvested into approximately won't get reinvested into our community. And while it saves money from people who think that, well, I'm just making a donation to some 4-H kid, it really does impact all of us. The feed sales are impacted. The effects of this are unmeasurable at this point. So just remember to support your 4-H families. This was a decision made very early by Extension and now has trickled down to our local fairs. Berry County is not the only one to make this decision in the last few days. There are fairs and festivals all over the state that have canceled their programs for, I think, through July. So at least some of the ones that I follow. I'm not sure. There's a couple that are still hoping to hold their September fairs. But by then, a hog that's supposed to be 300 pounds when it goes to the butcher would probably be close to 5. So a lot of impacts to our local community that we don't always think about. Commissioner Connor.
Thank you. I haven't really attended much this first couple of weeks. One of the LEPC meetings. Last night I was on a Zoom meeting. An appointment that I received after I became a commissioner was to Selective Services. And some of the changes that they mentioned were talking about in Washington, and that is to have women register for the vote. Now, that's a long way off. Laws will have to be changed. There's a lot of discussion, but it is being kicked around in discussion. So that was kind of different, but something that we can watch and wait to see what happens. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Starting at the top, Commissioner Gibson.
I'm good.
Commissioner Smelker.
I haven't done much. I attend 911 meetings in person to sign the bills, and that's it. That's all I got.
Dave Jackson.
Same. Not a lot on the schedule. Have been talking to some of the township officials and supervisors, but other than that, have not attended any meetings in person.
Commissioner Parker.
Yes, went to Thornapple Township meeting. Well, I didn't go to it on the phone. And they are struggling with determining whether to upgrade a server or go to the cloud on storage. It's an expensive deal to go to the cloud with it. So they're trying to see if there's some other options that way. A village council meeting tonight with Zoom, and we'll see what goes on there. You may have all gotten an email from Michael or Luella about an announcement about a grant given to one of our providers in Berry County. When I talked to Dave about this, he said that they don't even know when it's going to happen, but it should happen Wednesday. But they didn't know, and they have no idea because it's going to be held by USDA, or look for wording that wouldn't say MEI, but look for wording on your emails that would say Berry County Services, something along that line. So just keep checking your email, and you'll have an invite, I believe, to open that up and see that at that time. So And Dave, did you get the message from me at all on that? Okay, good. All right, that's about all I have right now. And we got an LDFA meeting on Thursday at the village. Bradford White, as you probably heard or saw or read, that they did have some people that had the virus, and they've kind of cleared that area where they worked and extra sanitized it, and have quarantined a few people. So any questions for me?
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Commissioner Geiger.
I'm good. Everybody stay well.
Thank you, sir. Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the commissioners may do so for up to 3 minutes. I apologize if I skipped that in the first part of our meeting. It was not my intention, but that doesn't mean you get 6 minutes. Mark Bond Sr. has his hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mark Bond Sr. from Berry Township. I just some rough figuring after listening to the new figures on the jail. That reduces the per year per person cost to somewhere in the neighborhood of $25, which is $2 and change per month. And again, I'll remind people that if we build a new jail, we're going to save a lot of money in needed repairs for the old building, and it will operate more efficiently and save money down the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? I do not see any hands up. Oh, Kathy Gramsey. Kathy Young Gramsey.
Thank you, Heather. I just want to quickly ask, I think she misspoke about the selective service. Please have her say that they're considering requiring women to register for the draft, not to vote.
She's correct. She's correct.
And you've confused me with this last vote you took on the resolution. I recall you voting to amend it and then voting to approve the amended resolution. And I thought that once you amended it, the original didn't exist anymore. So I'm confused. And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
That's okay. It's one of those Robert's Rules of Order, and I don't typically respond to limited public comment, but we did not close the original motion. We had an extra motion to approve it, which we didn't really need. And so we had to go back and fix the original motion and close that for it to be kosher according to Robert's rules. It really wasn't any
okay, so
anything other than to catch a loophole so that if it came up later, then somebody says, hey, this didn't work. It was to close that loophole so that it did.
Okay, so it wasn't that you didn't vote on it. It was that
we had an extra motion that did the same thing. And so we needed to go close the original motion. So we voted on it twice and approved it twice, I guess.
That's good news.
Yeah.
A resolution so nice, we passed it twice.
There you go, Ben.
And
A poet.
we will have to pass it a third time once we get the updated figures, correct?
Yeah, well, we would just have to, not the motion itself, just the ballot language. Any other discussion? Any other public comment? I'm looking for hands up. I do not see any.
Jim Dull's got one up.
Who does?
Jim Dull.
Hey, Jim Dull.
Am I there?
You
Can you
are.
hear me? Okay. A couple things. Shout out to Dave Jackson. He included Nick DeSempler, Brian Sensi, and I into his Lake Association meeting, which took care of some of the questions on the lake level structures. Thank you, David. Also, we have our public hearing for the Cloverdale Drain District set for May 21st. Somehow DEQ is going to run it probably virtually, but I don't know how. So we were tickled to death that DEQ got right on that after April 22nd, and we had a couple of requests, and they figured out a way to do a public hearing immediately. So shout out to DEQ too. Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Thank you, sir.
Jim, have not received a notice in the mail on that, and I thought it was required that they notice you within 10 days of the meeting.
Yeah, that notice went out, should have been out last week. It had to be mailed 10 days in advance.
Okay, have not seen anything here on the lake, so
Okay, I'll get you a jingle and see.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other public comment? Hearing none, is there any other business to come before the board? There being no further business and without objection, the board will now adjourn. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine and don't forget about the parade. It's 2:00. Also, if you look to the skies around 3:20-ish, there should be a flyover. I think now I forgot what planes they were. There should be a flyover from planes flying from Grand Rapids to Battle Creek. Just, Michigan strong, support them, our military supporting us. So I think they said they were the Warthogs. That'll be a fun thing if you're out and about at around 3:30. Have a great day.